Estimating fractions as percents. Well, how do I estimate fractions as percents? Well, it's pretty easy. What we do is we take a fraction and we round the numerator and we round the denominator and we try and look for a basic fraction that we can easily convert into a percent. Now when I say a basic fraction, I'm talking about all these basic fractions. So let's just take a look at some of these. 1/2 you know is 50%, as is 2/4 and 4/8 and 5/10. 1/4 would be 25%, and 3/4 is a basic fraction, that's 75%. And then the fifths, those are all easy. That would be 20%, 40%, 60%, and 80%. All the tenths, those are real easy to convert into percents. And then, of course, your eighths. 1/8 is 0.125, so that'd be 12.5%. 3/8 is 0.375, so that'd be 37.5%. So these are all your basic fractions, which you could easily mentally turn into percents. All right, let's look at a few examples. So if you were asked to estimate this fraction, what would you round 59 and 82 to? Well, let's look. I'd probably round it to 60/80, and then you can drop the eggs, you can drop the zeros. That would equal 3/4, and that's a real basic fraction. It'd be 75%. So if you were estimating 59 out of 82, let's say that you got 59 out of 82 on a test or a quiz, that'd be about a 75%. Let's look at another example. So let's say you got a 31 out of 52, and you wanted to estimate that. Well, you could think of 31 as 30 and 52 as 50, which would be 3/5, and again, that's a nice easy fraction to turn into a percent mentally. What about 181 over 204? What would you round each of those to? Well, I would probably do 180 over 200, which is real easy to simplify. It'd be 9/10, or you could even think of it as 90 over 100, which would be 90%. Well, we'll do a couple more. What about 29 over 301? Again, this one's pretty simple. I'd probably round 29 to 30 and 301 to 300, which would be 1/10, and 1/10, piece of cake, turn that into 10%. 19 over 82. I'd probably round 19 to 20 and round 82 to 80, which simplifies to 1/4, and that would be 25%. So what we're doing is we're trying to look for basic fractions. Well, here's an application question. You have 246 students in 6th grade at BRMS, and 47 of those 246 students went to ski club. About, now this is a key math word here, about means to estimate. About what percent of the kids went on the trip? So let me show you how you would do this. So it was 47 out of 246 students went on the trip. So about how many went? Well, you round that to 50, you round that to 250. That would simplify to 1/5, and 1/5 is a basic fraction. So it'd be about 20%. About 20% went on the ski trip. Okay, why don't we just wrap this up and we'll just do a few of these. We'll estimate these fractions. This first example, 198 over 389. Well, I'd probably round the numerator to 200, and I'd probably round the denominator to 400. Well, that would be 1/2, and 1/2 is 50%. So if you were estimating that fraction, it'd be 50%. In our next example, 29 is about 30, and 42 is about 40. I can go ahead and drop those eggs. So that's 3/4, and we know that 3/4 is 75%. In our next example, I'd probably round the numerator to 60 and denominator to 80. Drop the eggs, we have 6/8. Well, 6/8 is equal to 3/4, and again, 3/4 is 75%. 30 over 149, I probably wouldn't do anything with the numerator. And the denominator, I'd round to 150. Drop the eggs, and I know that 3/15 simplifies to 1/5, and that's a basic fraction. 1/5 is 20%. Okay, so 19, I probably would round that to 20, and 51 to 50, and I would drop my eggs. There's your basic fraction, and 2/5, we know, is 40%. And we'll do one final example here. So 301 over 499, I probably round that numerator to 300, the denominator to 500, drop the eggs, and 3/5 is a nice basic fraction, and that would be 60%. So again, when you're estimating fractions, what you're trying to do is you're rounding the numerator and denominator, and we're looking for basic fractions that we can easily and mentally convert into percents.